You know how some people just dedicate their entire lives to something, pushing themselves way beyond, well, what seems possible?
Yeah, totally.
Today, we're plunging into exactly that kind of world, natural bodybuilding.
Right. It's this space of really intense physical discipline, but mental too.
Definitely. And it's something a lot of you listening have said you want to understand, like on a deeper level, quickly but properly.
That's right. So we've dug into this documentary, Battle of the Amateurs, a natural bodybuilding documentary. It's on the More Than Muzzle YouTube channel.
Got some good stuff there.
Oh, yeah. Think of this as like your shortcut to getting the core principles, the raw reality of preparing for these competitions.
Exactly. So our mission here in this deep dive is to pull out all that crucial know-how about prepping for a natural bodybuilding comp.
We're talking training, diet, the nitty-gritty
That
stuff.
mindset you need, yeah, and even the unexpected things that crop up.
Always twists and turns.
For sure. We'll be following four guys, Benjamin, Matthew, Brock, and Joel. They're all amateur natural bodybuilders, kind of at different points in their prep. Okay, let's dive in. Where's a good starting point to, really get this level of dedication?
Well, I think a good place is looking at where they are leading up to the comps
Mm-hmm.
and what their mindset is like.
Okay.
So take Benjamin. He's about 4 to 6 weeks out. And he's really feeling it,
Feeling the strain.
Yeah, the low food, the really high training volume, more cardio piled on.
Yeah.
But he actually sees it as a sign he's making progress.
Ah, interesting. So the struggle is feedback, basically.
Exactly. Not a negative thing. He sees it as, okay, this is working.
He also talks about his gym, right?
Yeah.
Revolution,
Yeah.
being a big source of motivation.
Yeah, he's been there for years, surrounded by people doing the same thing. That environment is going to be a huge support.
Must be.
And interestingly, he's actually just bumped up his training twice a day now. Less cardio twice a day. And this happened after his training partner, Joel, switched gyms.
Oh. Why'd Joel leave?
Joel apparently wanted better, more motivating training partners, his words.
Ooh, okay. A little bit of gym politics or competition, maybe?
Seems like it. Even in what seems like an individual sport,
Mm-hmm.
that environment, that camaraderie, or maybe the lack of it,
Mm-hmm.
really matters.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so then there's Matthew. His approach sounds, well, completely different.
Stark contrast, yeah. He calls it relaxed.
Relaxed in bodybuilding prep.
Right. He's deliberately not tracking macros strictly or calories. He relies more on the mirror.
Just looking.
Yeah, looking in the mirror and, his years of experience understanding his own body.
That takes some confidence, I guess.
It does. And what's really insightful is his focus on sleep and keeping stress low.
The recovery side.
Exactly. He notices a real difference between competitors who look kind of downcast and those who are still enthusiastic. He thinks the positive mindset is crucial.
Makes sense. Less stress, better results, maybe.
That seems to be his philosophy. And his cardio. It's almost like he enjoys it.
Really? How so?
He loves going to the beach, tanning. He finds it therapeutic, stress reducing.
Okay, that's definitely not the typical dreading the treadmill vibe.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It just shows how finding what works for you personally is so important, isn't it?
Totally. Okay, so Benjamin is intense structure. Matthew is relaxed intuition. What about Brock?
Brock is another level of commitment again. Really intense.
Okay.
He's been training 14 years. Last 10, super focused.
Driven by something specific.
Yeah, he wants to emulate Frank Zane's physique. That classic look.
Ah, okay, so a very clear goal.
Very clear. And he's willing to train whenever, any hour. And he tracks everything.
That's food.
Every gram of food. It's a completely data-driven approach. Meticulous, which, that meticulous tracking, that's powerful feedback, whatever your goal.
Yeah.
Measuring inputs, outputs, helps you adjust smartly.
Right. He even mentions kind of backing off leg size, right? Feels they're developed enough.
Yeah, shifting focus to definition now.
Yeah.
And here's a funny detail. He actually likes training in a gym with older equipment, basic stuff.
Huh. Less about the fancy machines, more about the work.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Fundamental principles, consistently applied, they get results.
Okay, interesting. So let's shift a bit. Joel, we mentioned him leaving Benjamin's gym. What's his training philosophy like? Seems like it influenced Benjamin.
Yeah, Joel is all about frequency and volume. High frequency, high volume.
How high are we talking?
6, sometimes 7 days a week. Often training twice a day.
Wow. What's the split like?
He cycles through major muscle groups twice in about 8 days. Leg, chest, back, shoulders, arms, then repeat.
And the volume?
It's massive.
Yeah.
Upwards of 20 sets for big muscles, chest, back, legs.
20 sets.
Yeah, and maybe 16 to 18 for smaller ones like shoulders and arms.
Okay, that's a lot. How does he justify that? What about recovery?
Well, that's his key. He prioritizes sleep and recovery over taking planned rest days.
So sleep is the rest day, in a way.
Kind of. He believes if he sleeps enough, recovers properly, he can handle that load. He really stresses learning your own body and sticking with a routine for like 6 to 12 months to really see how it works for you.
And what about overtraining? That volume sounds like prime territory for it.
It's fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
He doesn't really buy into the typical idea of overtraining.
No.
He argues it's usually more a case of under-recovering.
Ah, okay. So it's not too much training, it's too little recovery.
That's his take. And he also brings up passion. If you're really passionate, you'll naturally put the effort into recovery because you want to keep going.
That makes sense. Drive fuels discipline.
Absolutely. And we also get a glimpse of, life outside the gym. Joel's a single parent.
Right. How does he balance that demanding schedule?
He says it actually makes him more efficient with his time, doesn't see it as an obstacle. And luckily, his daughter is supportive, shares some interest. Having that support system is clearly vital.
Yeah, a good reminder these aren't just athletes, they're people juggling real life. Okay, speaking of fuel, let's get into the diets. These must be precise.
Oh, definitely. Brock's approach here is, again, incredibly detailed.
How detailed?
Okay, so 4 weeks out, his macros are split. 65% protein, 35% carbs, and only 5% fat.
Wow, 5% fat is low. What's the calorie count?
Around 1,650 calories a day at that point.
And what's he actually eating?
Super structured. Meal 1. Oats and protein powder, or maybe egg whites. Then meals like chicken breast and greens. Then whitefish, greens, maybe a tiny bit of sweet potato.
Very clean.
Very. Final meal, often whitefish again, maybe basmati rice, beets, more greens. Controlled.
Any supplements? Sounds like he'd be into those too.
Oh yeah, extensive list. Fat burner, apple cider vinegar, vitamin C, tonkat lilies.
What's tonkat ali?
It's a herb, sometimes used for energy or hormone support.
Yep.
Also NAC, which is an antioxidant.
Okay.
Then a pump pre-workout, aminos during the workout, egg whites and glutamine after.
He's covering all bases.
Pretty much. Yeah. And zinc and magnesium before bed. It's a whole system.
And he tracks this all.
Meticulously.
Mm-hmm.
Food, training, cardio duration, his fasted weight every morning, which body parts he hit, everything.
Does he adjust based on that data?
Absolutely. He mentions hitting a weight loss plateau. So he looked at his log, adjusted things, ended up increasing cardio to an hour a day and dropping calories to that 1650 mark. Constant monitoring and tweaking.
Right. Data-driven adjustments. Now, Matthew's diet must be different, given his training style.
Yeah, it mirrors his relaxed training approach. He prefers putting out more energy doing that enjoyable cardio he likes rather than slashing calories drastically.
Makes sense. Burn more, eat a bit more.
Kinda. He adjusts carbs and cardio based on how he feels and looks.
How does that work?
Well, if he feels his muscles look flat, he might up the carbs slightly and maybe reduce cardio a bit. If he feels he's gaining a bit of fat, he'll do the opposite. Fewer carbs, more cardio.
Very intuitive again, listening to his body.
Exactly. And he stresses eating fruit after workouts.
For glycogen replenishment.
Precisely. Get those muscle energy stores refilled. Vital for recovery.
Yeah.
And he also prefers natural tanning. No spray tans. Fits his whole natural vibe.
Okay. And Joel, what's his diet like, especially coming into the competition?
His strategy shifts in the final week. He aims to keep food consistent.
Why consistent? Not manipulating things.
His goal is optimal muscle fullness and pump on stage. He thinks consistency helps achieve that look.
And his pre-stage ritual, he must have one.
Oh, he does. It's quite specific. A pump supplement, using resistance bands to pump up backstage.
Standard enough.
Eating oranges. And get this, a small amount of port wine.
Port wine, before going on stage.
Yeah. Apparently to help with vascularity, make the veins pop.
Huh. That's unconventional for natural bodybuilding, isn't it? Alcohol.
It certainly stands out. Shows the lengths some competitors go to for that edge, I guess.
Definitely raises an eyebrow. Okay, what about Benjamin's nutrition?
Benjamin seems grounded in whole foods pretty much year-round.
So no drastic changes for prep?
Not really an overhaul. He avoids strict calorie tracking, doesn't seem big on supplements. His diet's built around things like whole eggs, lean proteins like turkey mince with complex carbs like white potato.
Sounds sustainable.
Yeah, a post-workout shake with mango, banana, egg whites. Meals like steak, asparagus, tomatoes. Real food.
Does he manipulate anything closer to the show?
He does use low-carb and high-carb days strategically. carb cycling.
To keep the metabolism guessing.
Yeah, prevents stagnation.
Yeah.
But because his base diet is so consistent with whole foods, the pre-comp phase is more about subtle tweaks than a massive shift.
Okay, so we have these 4 athletes, different approaches, all pushing hard. Then things get weird, right? The competitions get called off.
Yeah, total curveball. An announcement comes, both comps are canceled.
Oh, man, after all that prep.
Exactly. But then, almost immediately, there's a retraction, but only for Joel's competitions. The ICN and A and B shows are back on.
What? That must have been an insane emotional roller coaster.
Absolutely. Imagine investing months, being weeks out, then that confusion. Apparently, a confusing call from someone named Peter Goodham caused the mix-up. Just highlights how unpredictable things can be.
Seriously. Okay, so Joel's comps are on. How's he feeling going into the first one, the ICN?
He seems confident. Feels he's in his best shape ever. He knows the lineup is bigger this time, more competitors, but he feels ready.
And Brock, how's his confidence?
Less certain, actually. He mentions his body reacting differently this time, not quite as he expected. He acknowledges the competition is tough.
He rated his chances.
Yeah, kind of assessed it as maybe 50-50 for hitting the look he wanted. So some definite uncertainty there.
Okay, so the first comp happens. What are the results?
The Brock wins his height class.
Wow, despite the uncertainty. Good for him.
Yeah, a significant win. Joel places second in that class.
Second for Joel. How did Brock react to winning? Big celebration.
Surprisingly understated. Almost subdued, actually.
Huh. Wonder why. Maybe just drained.
Could be. Or maybe he's still focused on the overall later. Hard to say. It makes you wonder about the psychological state after such intense prep, right? To not have a bigger outward reaction.
True. And Joel, how did he take second place?
Initial disappointment. And he was quite self-critical.
Blaming himself.
Yeah, he felt he messed up his peak week, went too aggressive with cutting food and water, ended up feeling flat on stage, lacking that muscle fullness.
Classic peak week mistake, even for experienced guys.
Exactly. Shows how fine the line is. But he immediately decides, okay, for the next competition, just stick to the normal routine. No drastic last-minute changes.
Smart move. Learn and adjust.
Interestingly, though, even after winning his class, Brock still seemed unsure about his peak week. Felt maybe it wasn't his absolute best look.
Still critical. And Joel, after seeing Brock on stage...
Yeah, Joel admits seeing photos of Brock's physique made him nervous for the next round, the overall championship. He used the words nerve-wracking.
Understandable. Head-to-head competition does that. That psychological pressure must be immense.
For sure. Seeing your main competitor looking sharp definitely plays mind games.
Okay, so that sets up the second competition, the big one. The overall championship. How are they feeling now?
Well, Joel expresses some uncertainty again. He admits trying to tweak things to get an edge on Brock after seeing those photos.
Reacting to the competition?
Exactly. But he's not sure if the tweaks actually helped or hurt his condition.
And Brock, still unsure too.
Brock echoes that feeling, yeah. He mainly just wants to look his absolute best, win or lose, but worries his peak week strategy might have been off.
So both guys going in with some doubts.
It seems that way initially. But then, just before going out, Joel's confidence seems to surge back.
Oh.
He says he feels he looks better than ever. Really believes he can win it.
And the result?
Joel wins. He takes the overall championship title.
Wow. So his confidence was justified.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Brock takes second place overall.
How did Joel react this time? Happy.
Oh yeah. Palpable relief and happiness. Genuine joy at winning the overall.
And Brock, taking second after winning his class. Must be tough.
Yeah, and there's a really poignant moment with Brock afterwards. He talks about hoping his parents are proud. And he said something about wanting to feel loved and wanting to win. It really hits home, the personal, emotional side of it all. It's not just about the trophy.
No, definitely not. It runs much deeper. Okay, but then the aftermath gets a bit weird again, doesn't it? Joel's comments to Brock.
Yeah, that was certainly noteworthy. After winning, Joel says some pretty surprising things to Brock.
Like what?
He says the result was blatantly obvious and even calls it rigged.
Rigged? He won and said it was rigged.
Yeah, suggesting that Brock should have actually won.
Okay, that's confusing. Why would he say that?
It's hard to know the motive. Maybe trying to console Brock.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of reverse psychology. It's unclear. He also points out Brock got the most vascular award.
Trying to soften the blow, maybe. And then he admits something else.
Yeah, he openly admits to drinking that port wine on stage.
On stage, not just before.
On stage. And says he could feel the effects kicking in while he was posing.
Wow. Okay. Admitting that, plus calling it rigged. That adds a strange layer to his win.
It really does. Especially in natural bodybuilding, admitting drinking port wine on stage, feeling its effects, definitely complicates the narrative.
Yeah, you could say that. But despite those comments, Joel does offer a broader view.
He does. He talks about natural bodybuilding being more than just physique. It's about self-improvement, health, setting an example for others.
Bringing it back to the journey itself.
Exactly. A reminder that for many, the principles, the process, that's just as important, maybe more so than the final placing.
So looking back at all four guys, it's just striking how different their paths were, isn't it?
Totally. You've got Matthew's relaxed, intuitive style.
Contrasted with Brock's super meticulous, data-heavy dedication.
Then Joel's high-volume, high-frequency approach, plus those unique comp day tactics.
Don't forget the port wine.
Right. And Benjamin just consistently relying on whole foods, avoiding the tracking obsession.
It really drives home that there's no single right way, is there? No magic blueprint for this.
Absolutely not. And the unpredictability of it all, that's a huge takeaway.
Yeah, how people respond to prep, to peak week.
Yeah.
It varies so much. We saw that clearly with Joel's first comp mistake and Brock's confidence going up and down.
Individual responses are key.
So, for everyone listening, especially those wanting to get knowledge efficiently, what are the big insights here?
Well, the sheer dedication is undeniable. That level of commitment is immense.
And self-awareness. Knowing your own body, how it reacts, that seems critical.
Crucial. And mental resilience. It's clearly as important as the physical side. We saw some fascinating aha moments too, right?
Definitely. Those totally different diet philosophies, the unexpected competition results, controversial comments.
Yeah, it wasn't straightforward. Which leads to a good final thought, maybe.
Yeah, let's leave our listeners with something to chew on.
Okay, so given this intense self-scrutiny, this incredible dedication these athletes show for peak physical condition, what parts of that mindset, that approach, might actually apply to other areas of personal growth or achieving other goals in life?
That's a great question. What aspects resonate beyond the muscles and the stage? And maybe also, what did you listening find the most surprising or insightful about diving into this world of competitive natural bodybuilding?